Okay. What we're going to do today is the most difficult of the factoring that you will do in grade 10. There are 3 ways you can approach this. And I wrestle with myself in my mind every year as to whether or not I'm going to show you all 3 ways. One way is really, really easy to do, but it's really hard to explain why it works. But it's really easy steps to follow. One way is really easy to explain why it works, but the steps are hard to do. And the third way is really just guessing and checking, which I hate. But I'm going to show it to you anyway. Okay? I'm going to show you all 3. There's one way that I personally am going to use all the time. I do not care if you use that way or not, but you must learn one of the 3 ways to handle this. Everybody cool? Okay. First thing, expand that. You have 2 seconds to do so. Go. What is it? Excellent. What do we call that? That is a trinomial. Excellent. Is it in general form? Yes. General form is ax squared plus bx plus c. Yes? Quadratic term, linear term, constant term. Pardon? Yes, indeed I am. Now, you will notice that in this particular trinomial, what is a? 0? 1. Okay? Now, we have seen trinomial factoring like this. Yes? And you have not, Kobe? Yes. You have not known how to handle this if you can't get rid of the 3. Now in this case, we can get rid of the 3, can't we? Because we can GCF a 3 out of there, right? And then we have 3x squared plus 10x plus 24, which you know how to factor. Yeah? All right. Now sometimes you're not going to be able to get the leading coefficient out of there. All right? But it is still factorable, which we are going to do right now. So first thing, expand this guy. It's a little harder to do with the shortcut. You may actually have to FOIL. But it is 6x squared minus x minus 2. Everybody can expand that. Yes, we quizzed on that yesterday. Most people did fairly well. Mr. Manahan. You need to figure out the rest of your life, because the 80 minutes you spend with me is not nap time. All right. What is wrong with that trinomial for your level of factoring skill right now? Like, why can't you factor that? Supri. Yeah, you can only deal with it when this guy is 1. You can make it 1 by GCFing, but this doesn't have a GCF, does it? No. So I'm going to show you how to deal with this, okay? When I was your age, I was shown a way to deal with this, and it was, as I said earlier, painstaking. It took a long time, but it was easy to see why it worked. When I was teaching math early in my career, I taught kids that way. They couldn't understand it. So I use the internet to not look at guys impaling their balls on picket fences. I use it to find information. And in my research, I found an Australian dude. I know I hate that he was an Australian because Australians already think they're the best people in the world. Am I right, Hannes? Every Australian you meet, they always make you think that they're just a little bit better than you simply because they were Australian. At least in my experience. Hannes, being from South Africa, would have met his fair share of Australians. Anyway, yes, it was an Australian, and they had a method for factoring that was way easier to learn. And then I met some international students who said, we do it a different way. And I stole that too. So I'm going to show you all three. I would recommend that you write down all three. Okay? And then you choose the one that works best for you. Alright? So I'm going to use three different colors to do this. The first one is called decomposition. This is the way I learned. Oops. Decompo. Oh, I was spelling it right. Decomposition. Alright? Now, keep these letters in mind. Okay? Step 1. Do A times C. So in this case, what is A? 6. And what is C? Look closer. Negative 2. So what does that equal? Negative 12. Right? Now, if there was no 6, then I would have to multiply to this number and add to this number, wouldn't I? Right? But this is a 6 now. Right? So it's not 1, it's 6 times bigger than 1. Is everybody with me? So I must go to a number 6 times bigger than 2, negative 2. Is everyone cool? But I still need to, step 2, I need to multiply to step 1. Actually, I'm going to rewrite that. Multiply to A times C and add to B. So in this case, what is it? Multiply to negative 12 and add to what? Negative, not x, negative 1. Everybody cool? That's step 2. So that's not changed, has it? Just slightly. You got to make sure, because this is 6 times bigger, this has to be 6 times bigger. Gerard.
Sorry, I told you the symbols, but what are you doing?
1 second, I have to wait for the jet to land. Michaela, can you close the door for me? Because we all know how important dry hands are. Thank you. Gerard, what?
You just go over step 2 again.
I need to find the number that multiplies to whatever A times C was and adds to whatever B is. And in this case, that's negative 12 and negative 1. Okay? Step 3. I rewrite with these numbers. So what are these numbers? What are the numbers that multiply to negative 12 and add to 1? Negative 1. 6 and 2 will not get me to 1. 4 and 3, right? Negative 4, positive 3, right? Okay, so I rewrite 6x squared minus plus 3x minus 4x minus 2. Is this the same as this? Is 3 minus 4 negative 1? Everybody cool? So what I have done right there is my decomposition. I have broken the linear term down into 2. Everybody cool? Now, step 4, group and GCF. What do I mean by group? Observe. Is there a GCF there? What is it? 3x. So 3x comes out, and what stays in? 2x plus 1. What's the GCF here? Oh, I didn't want to do that in green. I'm sorry, guys. What is the GCF in the second one? 2. So it's minus 2. And what did that leave in there? 2x minus 1? Plus 1. Is everybody cool? Everyone is good? And then step 5 is GCF again. Now, look closely. What math is happening right there? Multiplication. So doesn't that make that a factor? And that a factor? What math is happening right there? Multiplication. So doesn't that make that a factor? And that a factor? So doesn't that mean that that and that are common factors? So doesn't that mean we can take them out? We would divide by a common factor, wouldn't we? So if I divide by those and we rewrite it as GCF and what's left over, what do I get? I get 2x plus 1 and 3x minus 2. Now, I fully expect none of you to understand that, because that's the way I was taught. Okay? Everybody cool? Okay? All right. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you in blue what I think to be the easier way. 1 starts the same. A times C to get what? In this case, it's it's 6 times negative 2 to get negative 12. And then after that, we do 2 steps the way we already know how to do it. So I need to multiply to negative 12 and add to negative 1. So that's the same, yeah? Now, this is where it changes. We write it like this. X, because we know it's going to be x, right? Is this guy negative? So we know it's plus and minus, yeah? What are the two numbers? Plus 3 minus 4, yeah? Everybody still cool? It's all normal, right? Now here's where it gets weird. What did I do in the first step? I multiplied by A, didn't I? Now when we're factoring, what is the operation we must do to get the answer? Division. So I got to remember, to get to this point, I had to multiply by 6, didn't I? So to get the answer, what am I going to have to do? No, Divide by 6. Okay? Where do you think I divide by 6? With the x or with the number? Alon says the number. Why do you think it's the number? Yeah, because we knew this was 3 and 4 because we multiplied by 6, yes? So we must have to divide by 6. 6. Now look closely. Would we leave that in math class ever? No. What does it become? A half. Would we leave that in math class ever? No. What would it become? 2/3. Everybody cool? Now, please observe something. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to tell you that yet. Denominator to the front. 2x plus 1. Denominator to the front. 3x minus 2. I'm not even going to tell you why. Till later. I don't care which one you use, but I'm also going to show you a third one. And then we're going to practice a ton of it, so don't worry. The third one I'm going to draw up here in green. I don't like this one. Okay? But a lot of people do. (6x squared minus x minus 2). So, if we were going to draw this, when I said to draw it, we start at the edges, yes? Right? Okay. So, 6 can be 6 and 1 or 2 and 3, correct? Everyone agree? And 2 can be 2 and 1, that's it. So which of those has common factors? 6 and 1 and 2 and 1, or 3 and 2 and 2 and 1? 3 and 2 and 2 and 1. Even though 1 is common to both, we never count 1, because 1 is common to everything, right? So we know this has to be, we know that 6 is going to end up being 2 and 3 in the x's, right? And since we already know the answer, we're fine, right? We know it's 2 and 3, correct? So we have 2 and 3. What's our other option? We could write it as 3 and 2. Everyone cool? They both will get me 6, yeah? Now I go to the other side. What are my options? I can have 2 and 1, or 1 and 2, right? Or I can have, this is why I don't like this one, 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, or 3 and 2 and 2 and 1. Does everyone agree that those are my 4 combinations that I can have? I'm going to shrink this down a little so I can get it all on one page. Is everyone okay with that? 2's and 3's have to be together, 2's and 1's have to be together, but they might match up weirdly, yes? Now, I know I need the middle to be -1, right? So once you have your framework set up, you do this. This has to be negative, yeah? So one of these guys has to be negative, doesn't it? To make -2, right? Somewhere down here. Agreed? Okay, so let's make this guy negative and this guy positive. Everybody cool? Crisscross. What's 3 times -2? -6. What's 2 times 1? 2. Will -6 and 2 get me to 1 in any way? No. All right, so now let's check our other choice. 2 and 3, right? Now we got 1 and 2. Everybody cool? One of them has to be negative. We made 2 negative before, so let's make 1 negative here. Everyone agree? What's 2 times 2? 4. What's 3 times 1? Negative 3. Will 4 and negative 3 get me negative 1? No, but it's close, isn't it? What if I switch this to positive and this to negative? Will that work? Yes. Then I have negative 4 and 3. Does that get me what I want? Once I have the framework set up with what I want, I just go straight across. 2x plus 1 and 3x minus 2. You choose. I don't care. This is the way that I bet you were taught. Because it was a Chinese international student that showed this to me. I don't like this. Why? There's lots of guessing and checking, right? Eventually you'll get good at it, and you'll see it, but it's still guess and check. These two always work, because they're exactly like the factoring you've done before. Okay? I like the blue way. That's the way I am going to use. You are welcome to use any of the 3. If you want further instruction on any of the 3, do what I did. Go to the internet and find it. Because I am going to exclusively use the blue one. There's another reason. The blue one has applications later on in math. So if you're comfortable with the blue one, I'd stick with the blue one. Or I would make myself comfortable with the blue one. Because it is going to help you later on in math class. Okay? Alright? So let's run through a few of these. I'm going to make this bigger now. We'll start with this gigantic one. It's hideous. You know what? We're going to come back to that one because it's too gigantic and ugly. Let's go to this one. What's your first step? A and C. What is that? So I got to multiply to negative 30 and add to what?
13.
Negative 13. What is it? Think again. This is... Pardon? 15 and 2. Absolutely right. I have to be plus 2, and then I leave a space, and minus 15, and then I leave a space. Why do I leave the space? Because I got to divide by what, Michaela? Why 3? Yeah, because that's the one I multiplied to find what I had to deal with, right? So I'm going to divide by 3. Does that reduce? No. So where does the denominator go? 3s plus 2. Does that reduce? To what? 5. So that is s minus 5. And then I check. Is 3s times s 3s squared? Yeah. Is 2 times negative 5 negative 10? Yeah. If the two edges work, the middle works automatically. Okay? Does anybody wish to see me do this, any of these, with any of the other methods? Or are you happy with the blue one? If one person wants to see any of the other two, I will show it. You can do it in the blue one if you want. We're good? All right. We're We're going to do a couple more, then we're going to come back and try number 1, because number 1 isn't difficult. It's just bigger numbers. So let's have a look at 3. What do we got? Multiply to what? 54 and add to what? Negative 21. And it's going to be x and x. Is this positive? So the signs have to be the same. Is this negative? So the signs have to be negative. What are they? Somebody please find my mistake. Because this one I did do on purpose. Because all of you looked at that question and started doing steps without thinking. First thing I did said, what do we do first? And everybody said 6 times 9. Please look at that question. And remember, thank you, Nadia. Well done. What do you notice about 6, 21, and 9? They have a GCF. And what is the first thing we are supposed to do all the time? GCF. What is the GCF there? 3. So it's really 2x squared minus 7x plus 3, isn't it? Okay, now what do you do? Now we do 2 times 3. I got to multiply to what? 6. And add to what? Negative 7. X, that's positive, so it must be minus. Minus, what is it? The factors of 6 that add to 7. 6 and 1. Minus 6, minus 1. Now what did I multiply through? 2. So what do I divide at the end? 2. Does that simplify? To what? 3. And that doesn't, so where does the denominator go? X minus 3 and 2x minus 1. Okay? Once again, I remind you, is it dangerous to memorize steps? Yes. Memorize processes, not steps. Kobe. Okay. Number 4. If you are a step-oriented person, you have to do like a computer. If it's this, I go here. 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 If that's how you do math, then this is how you must approach this question. What is wrong with trinomial? Leading coefficient. Do not like leading coefficient. Step 1 to get rid of. GCF. No, must go other way. Follow me? Okay. No GCF here, so what do I got to do? I got to multiply to negative 40 and add to what? Negative 18. P. That's negative, so what are our signs? Positive and negative, and what are they? Factors of 40 that add to 18. Pardon? I heard it in the back corner. Sing it loud, sister. 2 and 20, which one is positive? Positive 2, because 2 minus 20 is negative 18. What am I dividing by? 8. Oh, look at this. You guys are brilliant. Simplify. 2 eighths is 1/4. 28 is 5 halves. Where do the denominators go? 4p plus 1, 2p minus 5. Do I have the time to check? Yep. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. Are we Gouda? We're Gouda. Now, I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself. What do you do with number 5?
GCF.
GCF. Yay. What is it? 4. 6h squared minus 5h minus 4. Now what?
Now times 6 minus 4.
Minus 6. Multiply to what? Negative 36. Add to what? Negative 5. What is it? Pardon? 4 and 9. Which one's positive? 4. Because 4 minus 9 is negative 5. What do I got to divide by? 6. And then I simplify. 2/3, 3/2, and I rewrite. 3h plus 2, 2h minus 3. Picking up what I'm putting down? 6. Leading coefficient. GCF, no. So what do? Multiply to 12 and add to 13. What is it?
12
N plus 12, N plus 1. What did I multiply through? So I divide by 2, simplify, N plus 6, and 2n plus 1. Check. N times 2n, 2n squared, 6 times 1, 6. Yeah, sure, you betcha. Everybody good? Everybody good?
Oh, I'm good.
7. Is it GCF-able? Is it? No. So I got to multiply to what? And add to what? What is it? Already Joel sees it. Divide by 3, divide by 3. Doesn't simplify, simplifies to 2. 3t plus 2, t plus 2. And 2 plus t. T for 2, nothing. The song. T for 2 and 2 for t, me for you and you for me, nothing.
No.
I don't even know why I try.
You don't.
What do I do here?
Look for GCF again, GCF.
Look for GCF, so no GCF, so it's multiply to 14 and add to
Plus
15. So what is it?
14.
Divide by 2, divide by 2, 7, m plus 7, 2m plus 1. Check. M times 2m, 2m squared. 7 times 1, 7. Done. Now do the first one. Because we left the first one blank because the number was big. I'll help you out. Multiply to 200. Add to 33.
33.
Yes?
Yeah, I know.
Because 33 is the linear term.
It's not 30. 33. I don't go with
Ain't going to be no 1 in 200. Ain't gonna be no 2 and 50. I mean 2 and 100. Ain't gonna be no 4 and 50, but we're getting close. Right? 5 and 40, that's 35. 6 doesn't work, 7 doesn't work. 8 and 25? Yeah. So it is b plus 8, b plus 25. What do I divide by? 20. Simplify. This one is 4 over 5, or 5 over 4. And this one? 2 over 5. And then what do we do with the denominators? 5 times 4 is 20, 2 times 5 is 10, done. Can everybody factor leading coefficients? All right. Now guys, I cannot stress this enough. This, in case you have yet to figure it out, is a very mechanical unit, isn't it? If it looks like this, you do this. 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 So what's the best way to get good at something that is mechanical? Practice, practice, practice. There's not a lot of thought to this, right? So, outline. You are going to do page 177.